What if the Empress of Light went from a big rainbow queen to a whole goddess of the sun? Well, look no further, as let me introduce you to MEAC Mod. This is a mod which doesn't add much of its own content, but instead aims to rework a bunch of vanilla content. Let's take weapons like the Mirror Muscle, Death Sickle, or True Knight's Edge. Today, I'll be giving a guide on how to beat the Empress of Light rework from this mod. To start, if you want to even summon this boss, you have to defeat Moonlord, then place down 2 Empress of Light relics near each other, and stand in between them, and kill a prismatic lace ring at noon. This will then spawn a stronger Empress of Light, but this is just a basic part of a rework. Once you beat this, the true form of Empress of Light will be here. At the start of a fight, there will be sparkly projectiles coming from all directions, which you'll have to dodge, and there will be telegraphed attacks also from all directions. For this, I suggest don't move in one direction too much, as at a certain distance from the Empress of Light, there is a barrier, and you could get caught on it. To avoid this, just try move more in circles. Eventually, the Empress of Light will start erupting more of these projectiles, which are affected by gravity, before doing 4 pairs of telegraphed attacks, and then a bunch more telegraphed attacks around the Empress, with an empty space in the middle which gets bigger, and I recommend you stay in. For this, I suggest just not going up at the start, but only start going up once the telegraphed attacks are back, and stay in the empty space while sticking to the edge of it. Once this beginning phase is over, the real fight will begin. First attack can either be one of these 2 things. 1. A bunch of projectiles which fly at you while moving clockwise or anti-clockwise. 2. A bunch of projectiles which move in your direction while a bunch of projectiles come in after. My tips for the first one is to move in the direction of projectiles slowly. But for the second one, just move around wherever projectiles came from. The second attack will always be spinning beams. The first and third will always go in the same direction, while second goes in the opposite direction. To dodge this, or alternate which side of beams you go on. For example, you can move to the left of a beam, then to the right of the next, then to the left again. Other attacks you will do are like these telegraphed quick beam attacks, either in a circle or vertical. Or there could be one where she dashes at you, and projectiles are spawned which are shot directly up and down. Eventually, the Empress will do more of these rotating beams, but this time they themselves start moving opposite direction, and then back to the original. During this attack, the Empress will start spawning projectiles coming from the outside, and all you have to do is just find the right spot to stay in and avoid them all. After this, the Empress will move above you and shoot a big beam vertically from her and a bunch of smaller beams equally spaced apart from each other. For this, you should just fall down a bit while moving either to the left or right. After this, she'll randomly spawn more vertical telegraph beams quickly, which all you should do is just pay attention to where the lines show up. After this, she will then shoot out a bunch of projectiles outwards, which will come back inwards. I recommend you just stay beneath her. Once she has done this, she will shoot an even bigger vertical beam from herself, and a bunch more beams equally spaced apart. While these beams are here, she will rapidly shoot a bunch of telegraph projectiles horizontally. What I recommend is just quickly hover to the side and then very slowly ascend upwards. It's best to stay around where the lines are to not get hit by projectiles, as going much higher will lead to you getting hit. Now it's time to transition into a new part of the fight. She'll move up, and you should move up with her. You should stick very close and pay close attention to where the safe area shows up. Then quickly fly into it and circle the Empress while staying in a safe zone. The Empress will do 4 big shockwaves before the safe zone grows. You must pay very close attention to where the safe zone is when it grows. Once you see where it grows, you must go to the opposite side of the Empress and wait for the safe zone to come back in time for the Empress' last shockwave. Also make sure to dodge the other projectiles during this part too. Now it's time for the fight to get harder. The Empress will start with quick beams before doing more attacks. Some older attacks will be kept, while there are some new or some changed. Let me introduce you to 2 dash attack, where she dashes towards you twice, while the second dash spawns a bunch of solar projectiles. This one is simple, just keep going down, don't go up. There is also another dash attack, which combines the vertical projectiles and vertical beams. There is also a spinning beam attack from before, except this time it's only 2 spinning beams, the second one getting faster. Once half of the beams go, the remaining ones will spin faster, requiring you to move around faster. What is possibly the hardest attack to get a hang of is the 4 huge flames. Now there is one small detail to pay attention to. These are the quick spinning lines around the Empress before the attack. Whatever direction the small lines are spinning, the flames will spin in the opposite direction. So look here, the lines are spinning clockwise, so I know to move anti-clockwise. Eventually there will be another transition where she will start using the same rotating beam again, however just a different attack, extra attack to it. This time there are projectiles coming in a different way and you have to move around a bit with them. Just pay attention to your character. After this, what comes next will shock you. She will literally become the sun and shoot groups of 3 projectiles as well as telegraphed beams. Then there will be a quick flash to indicate the second half of this attack. And not only are there beams, but also literal arcs. Oh yeah, the projectiles change a bit too. All you should do is just pay close attention to where all the telegraphing is. After this, she will do another safe zone attack. Use the same method as before, except this time she has extra projectiles during this too. This time when the safe zone gets big, don't bother trying to wait for the safe zone to come back, as in the end, it will just ditch you. Instead, you should get close and get ready to attack at the perfect time to stop her from doing the last blast. Now you're coming towards the end, you just need to dodge everything coming from the sky. Then there will be projectiles spawning beams, you have to pay attention to the lines and move out the way of the beams. Eventually the Empress will come back and shoot projectiles outwards, while more projectiles will be telegraphed, which you should look out for too. Just keep dodging, and eventually these telegraphed projectiles will come in quicker and quicker before you see crosshatch pattern. Once you see this, get in the closest square you can before all the beams are blasted. After this, just keep attacking and dodging until the very end. If this tutorial helps, be sure to like, subscribe, leave comments and share the video. If you have any questions, be sure to ask them down below. And now enjoy the boss fight.